So you're thinking about moving to Lee Summit? You look over my shoulder, that's where we're at for this video vlog of Lee Summit, Missouri. So if this is a place you guys been thinking about moving to, thinking about getting an investment property, thinking about a piece of land to build your forever home, well, we've got you covered because we're going to take a look at 3 properties in 3 different neighborhoods in 3 different price range. So you guys get a pretty good idea of how far your dollar is going to go in Lee Summit, Missouri. But we also got a lot of great information about the city and the surrounding areas and what to do, where to go, where to eat. So all kinds of very valuable information. So stick with us to the end because we got all of this and so much more. Let's get into it. All right, folks, like we always do in the past, we're going to take a look at Lee Summit in relation to Kansas City and the metropolitan area. So you guys get a good idea of the location, what's going on, the highways, the ins and out of Lee Summit in relation to downtown Kansas City. So as you see on the map right here, you see the dotted line coming through. That right there is the city limits of Lee Summit, Missouri. All right, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit so you guys see what's going on here. Here's Kansas City proper. This is downtown Kansas City. Lee Summit's here. Okay. So, and then you've got Kansas just over here on the dotted line coming here, this State Line Road. This is going to be Kansas. Then you've got some surrounding areas, Raytown, Grandview. Blue Springs is a little bit east of Lee Summit. We've done city reviews for Lee Summit, a bunch of the ones in the Northland, Gladstone, Liberty, North Kansas City. So those are other things to take a look at. But let's go ahead and jump in a little bit closer to Lee Summit itself. And let's look at the highway system. So first one that pops out is 470. 470 comes from the north, goes about almost halfway, goes west, and then ends over towards Kansas. All right. You've got 291 highway, as you can see right here. It goes straight north-south, curves a little bit, and goes straight. That goes into the Northland. You have 50 highway that comes down. Actually, it's 350 highway, comes down, turns into 50 in Lee Summit, keeps going out east. You can actually get to the Ozarks that way. You also have I-70. I-70's interstate. It runs east from the east side of the United States to the west side, cuts right across, but a little bit further north of that. All right. So that's going to be basically your highway system in and out. So some of the good things to point out here, you know, if you like lakes, well, you've got several in very close vicinity. So over here, the Jackson County Parks and Recreation, this right here is actually Lake Jacomo. Okay. There's a lot of outdoor activities. Obviously, you have the fishing, the boating, things of that nature. A little bit way south, you've got Lake Winnebago down here. West, you've got Longview Park. Let me see right here, Longview Lake. The same thing as Jacomo, a lot of outdoor activities, boating, fishing. Both of them have beaches, things of that sort. A lot of picnic outdoors, outdoor gatherings. Let's jump in a little bit closer. Okay, you can see how this pops up over here. So between I-29, 50 highway, 291, you've got everything you need in this area right here. You've got all the dining experiences you need, fast food, big box stores. Everything's relatively close by. And you're not really that far from downtown Kansas City. And like I always say, we don't really have much traffic here. Now, for those of us that live here, we freak out because if we're stuck in traffic for 10 minutes, the world's coming to an end. But most of you folks that are coming from New York, Chicago, Dallas, Miami, anywhere on the West Coast, basically, anything in California, you know, you're looking, you know, an hour to travel the equivalent of 15 miles. So we really don't have that. I've heard a lot of people say the traffic's, it's, trust me, I travel a lot. I used to live on the East Coast, and all my family's in big cities, and I just can't wait to come back home. And this is definitely home. So here's this is the lay of the land for Lee Summit in relation to the rest of Kansas City. But I also wanted to point something out here, which if a lot of you guys are going to like. Here's Lee Summit down here in the dotted line. Okay. If you guys are a Chiefs fan and you like football, maybe you don't, maybe you do, baseball, same thing. It's really just go up north on 470, grab 70, cut across, and then you'll end up at Arrowhead Stadium, and right next door is the Royal Stadium ballpark. And for those of you who like local sports, right here, Cable Dahmer Arena, which is just right next to Lee Summit. They have hockey, they have MMA events, they have concerts. So it's a really, because it's not as big as, a 15,000 seater, but it's very good. It brings regional shows, some national shows. It's a really great arena. This is the first property that we're taking a look at in Lee Summit, Missouri. As usual, let's take a look at the surrounding area. This property is the one right across the street. Looking up the street here, you notice all the properties are relatively the same. Again, look at the trees. It's a big deal. A lot of my clientele is always asking in the neighborhood, the trees, the area. Up the street, you can see there, you might have a couple two-story properties like this one right here, but mostly they're gonna be ranches, raised ranches, two-car garage, just like this one. Okay, so here's the property in question. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's right at 1,300 square feet. Like I said, it's a raised ranch. It is 2-car garage. The basement is not finished. So all of the 1,300 square feet is the living space upstairs. It is a corner lot, so it kind of wraps around to the side. I tend to like corner lots myself. It seems like you've got a little bit more room outside the area to work with. So this property right here is listed at $249,000. This is our first stop in Lee Summit, Missouri. Let's go ahead and move on to property number 2. Here we are at property number 2 in Lee Summit, Missouri. As you can see, right behind us is the subject property. But as usual, before we jump into that, let's take a look at the surrounding area and see what it looks like. Okay, so right in front of the property is this one right here. It faces the opposite street. Let's go up the street here. You can see a lot of these properties. They're all going to be the same. This is an early 2000s build. They're mostly all going to be 3-car garages. You're not going to see too many. They're going to be less than that. You won't see any 4-car garages. These are roughly going to be, if you have the basement finished out, you're looking at, probably 3,000 square feet, maybe a little bit more. These over here on this side of the street, you can see it's a hill. So then you're going to get a walkout basement, the way that ends up coming out. So looking down the street, you're going to see pretty much the same. Let's walk a little bit over here. You'll see out over here, you'll see the slope on these properties. It's sort of like on a hill. So that's how you get your walkout basement. Going down the street over here, you see the corner lot, properties right across the street, the trees, the neighborhood. A lot of times you look at the fencing, these metal fencings are a little bit more expensive, a little bit higher end. You're going to see it in some of these higher end neighborhoods. Here's the subject property itself. It is a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, right at 3,500 square feet. It's listed for just under $500,000, and the sellers have provided a $10,000 paint credit. This build is from 2004, and it appears to be that the paint interior is original and the exterior needs some paint, so that's why you get that credit that they're automatically providing. And that's usually coming because there's been some feedback regarding that, so they made that concession. So this right here is going to be property number 2. It's a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, priced just under $500,000. This is property number 2 in Lee Summit, Missouri. All right, so let's go ahead and proceed to property number 3. Okay, folks, here we are at property number 3 in Lee Summit, Missouri. The subject property is directly behind us over here. But as usual, let's take a look at the surrounding area in this neighborhood. So this right here is the first house right next to it. As you can see, all these houses are going to be somewhat similar. All 3-car garages, some reverse ranch, some 2-story. These are all late 90s, early 2000 builds. Let's take a look around here. We are in a cul-de-sac. This house is right in the center of the cul-de-sac, so the backyard's going to fan out. You can see up the street. Well, I guess from where we're at, it's down the street.
Here's up the street, and then we're swinging around. And as always, take a look at the trees in the neighborhood. That tells a lot. So obviously a neighborhood here is about 25 years of age. You got a lot of old growth trees. The backyards are, you can see right through here, they're very well taken care of. All of these lawns are well taken care of. It's very nice. There's a lot of sidewalk and trails. Here's the subject property in question. It is a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, right at 3,400 square feet. The basement's finished out. It is listed at right at $600,000. So this right here is going to conclude our tour of Lee Summit, Missouri. Behind me is the subject property I just talked about. It is the third one. I'll recap again. It's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,400 square foot, listed at $600,000. So let's get back to the office and recap our Lee Summit vlog.
My name's Fernando Marquez. I'm a licensed agent with United Real Estate Kansas City. I've been a real estate agent for over 5 years and a real estate investor over 8 years. So if you're looking to make a move to Kansas City, whether that be relocating, buying your new house, downgrading, upgrading, looking for a piece of land, even looking for an investment property, we definitely can help you in all those aspects. So reach out to us, call us, text us, send us an email, or better yet, let's do a Zoom call. It's real easy to get to know each other, exchange information, ideas, so that way we can get you exactly what you want and exactly what you need. So I've been a resident of Kansas City for about 38 years, and I've seen a lot of growth in that time. It's expanded quite a bit. It's grown like you would not believe, and it's still growing. There's a new development taking place on the riverfront, just under $1 billion development. So everything's growing. You know, the Chiefs are doing great. They have the new women's soccer team and stadium that was just built at the riverfront. So there's a lot of really good stuff going on. So if you want to be part of this exciting city and its growth, definitely reach out to us. It doesn't necessarily have to be Lee Summit. Any suburb in the Kansas City metropolitan area, whether on the Missouri side or the Kansas side, we can definitely help you guys. So just reach out to us. Tell us exactly what you want or what you're looking for. It doesn't matter if you're looking to make the move within a week, 2 weeks, 6 months, or a year. There's no better time than to get the conversation started right away. So reach out to us. We're looking forward to speaking with you. God bless and thank you. Para mi comunidad hispana, estamos aquí para servirle a ustedes en cualquier capacidad que ustedes necesiten. Si es comprar una casa, vender una casa, buscar una propiedad para inversión, cualquier cosa, no importa, estamos aquí para ustedes. Si no es en el lado de Missouri, puede ser en el lado de Kansas. So, comunícase con nosotros, una llamada, teléfono, correo electrónico o mejor una llamada estilo Zoom, que lo podemos ver a través de la cámara. Muchas gracias. Adiós.